Hi people, welcome to the Run Testers, and in this video we're putting the new Nike Vomero 18 up against the Nike Pegasus 41. These are two of Nike's neutral and nicely cushioned daily trainers. They are both designed with a softer edge for easy everyday runs. The new Vomero goes the bigger stack route, while the Pegasus is now what you'd call kind of a mid-stack, sort of more traditional. You might be considering buying either of these or both of them for the same kinds of runs. So which one is best? Well, we've got the miles to find out. Watch on for our Nike Vomero 18 versus Nike Pegasus 41 head to head. Quick details first then. When it comes to stack height, the Nike Vomero 18 packs 46mm in the heel, 36mm in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. The Nike Pegasus 41 comes in at 37mm in the heel, 27mm in the forefoot, also for a 10mm drop. The Vomero 18 weighs in at 11 ounces or 310 grams in a UK men's 8.5 test shoe, while the Pegasus 41 is lighter at 10.5 ounces or 298 grams. On price, Vomero lands £135, $150. The Nike Pegasus 41 is going to be £130 or $140. Moving on to a quick shoe comparison then, and the Nike Vomero 18 now has a bigger, plusher 46mm stack. That's up from 40mm, it was in the Vomero 17. You've got a dual foam setup that uses a foot-length layer of Zoom X on top, and you've got a bottom layer of React X underneath that. There's also a pronounced rocker that's targeting smooth transitions and energetic toe-offs. The Pegasus 41, meanwhile, has a lower stack of React X foam. You've got some air zoom units under the forefoot and the heel to add a bit more pop to the ride. There's slightly less rockering in the peg and noticeably less foam under the forefoot, which can make a difference to how these feel if you're a forefoot runner. Up top, both shoes have engineered mesh uppers that are quite thick. They both feel nicely premium. They've also got a good amount of flex in here. Both shoes have medium padded heel collars, similarly padded tongues that are both gusseted with largely the same setup. All of that feels very similar across the shoes here. If you flip them over, the Pegasus 41 has a more generous covering of outsole rubber. You've got one main forefoot pad in the middle here and a bit sweeping around the outside. The Vomero 18 breaks up the outsole into more pads, presumably to improve the kind of flex of that sole as you run. Both also have these little studs to boost the grip. Word on fit then, I ran a UK 8.5 in both shoes. That's the size I'd usually reach for in Nike shoes, and I found the fit was great in both. Really good disappearing fit with a balance of comfort and hold. There's plushness there, but it's not excessive from the medium padded heel collars and tongues. There's plenty of flex in the uppers too, and I find this a generally easy, roomy, unrestricted feel in both of these shoes. And overall, I have no problems recommending going true to size in these. So in testing, I've run well north of 100 miles in the Nike Pegasus 41. I've now run more than 40 miles in the Nike Vomero 18. These are both shoes that I've kept putting on when I'm supposed to be testing other shoes for the channel. That's how much I've enjoyed them. I also did a solo marathon test in the Pegasus 41, which you can find on the channel if you have a little search. I've tested the shoes at a full range of paces. I've mixed roads with river paths. I've put both shoes through runs at least up to 90 minutes on feet, if not longer. And after all of that, I can safely say that I really like both of these shoes. They both suit the way that I run, and in terms of versatility, I think they can handle quite a lot. As a utility shoe in my rotation, they kind of fit in nicely, certainly up to my endurance pace. Now, they are definitely best when you're just getting out to jog miles or log miles with your head up, you know, the easier end of business, lower and slower, those head clearing runs where you want comfort and you're just out, you know, the runs basically where you're doing it for the soul, not necessarily for training. Those runs these shoes are great for. Everything about the Vomero 18 is geared towards soft, plush comfort. And this is very much the softer, more cushioned shoe of the two. But I don't think it's overbaked. I think the dual foam setup makes for a reliable, stable, cushioned ride that actually also has a little bit of pop to it. If you're feeling energetic enough to do the work, you're going to get something back from this, and it's not totally devoid of pace. All that extra padding in the uppers and the big stack, yes, it makes it a heavier shoe, but you're trading weight for guaranteed comfort. And I actually think it runs lighter on the foot than it looks from the numbers on the scale. For a max stack shoe, I'd argue this almost doesn't feel max stack, and I think part of that is because it's got a slightly narrower sort of forefoot, which adds a little bit of precision, a bit of agility. I'd say it absolutely drops in somewhere between the Invincible and the Pegasus 41. Now the Pegasus 41 also has an excellent disappearing feel. It's spacious and roomy, it's light, it's unfussy, it's very easy to slip on, it's instantly comfortable. The ride is cushioned, but there's considerably more ground feel when you compare it directly to the Vomero 18. This shoe also runs lighter on the foot than it should do for the weight, but I found it cushioned and protective just about right. It's not overly soft and laboured. It's another workhorse that I found good for eating easy miles. It's got a little bit of spring back, not as much as the Vomero 18. The React X midsole Zoom AirPods, it definitely creates a more direct, more ground feel ride. One word on durability as well. Both of these have held it okay to the mileage, but I have got a bit of wear in the heels on the outside on both of them where those studs have worn away a bit. Now I also did a quick side-by-side mile to tease out the other differences between the shoes, how they feel on the foot, and here is what I found. So I've just done my side-by-side mile. I've got the Pegasus 41 on the right foot, I've got the Vomero 18 on the left foot. The major difference from the moment you get out of moving in these is you notice that big, softer, more energetic stack that you've got on the Vomero 18. These are much, much more cushioned. The Peg 41s come up with a lot more ground contact, ground feel as a result. So that's going to be your main differentiator here. It's whether or not you want a ride that's a bit more traditional, a bit more close to the ground, gives you a bit more kind of contact and control on the ground, or you're going to get that bigger stack of softness and cushioning with a little bit of energy in the Vomero 18. So it's all a bit more bouncy and springy in some respects than the Peg 41, which I think can cushion, but they require kind of a bit of a quicker turnover in order to get any of the kind of top pace out of them. So if you thought the Peg 41 lacked cushioning, or a bit too direct, a bit ponderous maybe, a bit sort of slow, the Vomero 18 are going to give you a bit more in terms of the energy back, but they're definitely going to cushion and protect you much longer, and that is the big difference here. Verdict then, and I think you've got two good cushion daily trainers here that are pretty good all-rounders up to a point, but best definitely towards the easier end of things. Now I like the styling of both. They're definitely shoes that I would recommend to casual runners who want something that can happily cross from everyday wear to the odd 5k, or for beginners who just want a shoe that's going to deliver comfort for those early miles whilst you're getting into running. This is kind of what I call a suitcase shoe. It's a great option that will cater for most of your runs on your travels as well. You can pop them in, wear them, with civvies, and also run in them. I was a massive fan of the Nike Pegasus 41 for being a good traditional all-rounder, but now I've tried the Vomero 18, I think it probably supersedes it overall. Even with the extra stack, I think it can cover similar runs and do an equal job, if not better, also at a similar price. Now with the Vomero, there is more cushion than the Pegasus for that cruising comfort, but I still find that it's a controlled shoe, but it's as good as well, I think, as the Pegasus for picking up the pace, and it still feels natural even with the bigger stack. It's one of the least big stack shoes that I've run in, and even though it's heavier than the Pegasus 41, I think the impact of that extra weight is kind of offset thanks to the energy of the ride that's coming back from that dual foam setup, where there's a good amount of kind of spring back with the softness, and I don't really find the weight much of a drawback. Now in terms of choosing between them, from the ride and run performance perspective, I think you're going to get more protection at slower paces in the Vomero 18 because of that softer, bigger stack. A lot of runners, I think, will like the extra foam that comes under the forefoot and the heel for that sort of softer, more cushioned ride. But the Vomero 18, I think, works well at faster paces too. And the only reason that I would pick the Pegasus over the Vomero, I think, was if you really preferred the lower stack, more traditional ride, that kind of ground feel. This is a shoe, the Pegasus, that you've got to pick up your feet a bit quicker in order to make the most of it. So if you want that feel, you're going to get that more traditional feel with the Pegasus 41. But for me, the Vomero 18 wins it over out of these two. In fact, I think it's one of my favourite shoes of the year so far. I just love running easy in it. So there you have it. That's been our head-to-head between the Nike Vomero 18 and the Nike Pegasus 41. Hope you found that comparison useful. We'd appreciate a subscribe if you're not already. Ring that bell to be notified when other videos land on the channel. If you're interested in daily trainers, I'm going to pop a video up on the screen now that you should go and watch. Otherwise, as ever, thank you very much for stopping by and giving us your time. We do very much appreciate it. And until next time, happy running, people.